Moving into our second story of the day, Joy Reid is back in the news once again. She says no one used the word inflation until Republicans taught them what it means to damage Democrats, folks. This one is really unbelievable. You can't miss it. As always, hit that like and subscribe button. Support the Bald Brad Show. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. MSNBC anchor Joy Reid said that no one used the word inflation until Republicans taught them what it means in order to damage Democrats. Folks. It shows you how far away the Democrats are in terms of like having anything to run on, because they're literally attacking Republicans for using the word inflation when inflation's at a 40-year high. This is so unbelievable. Let's go ahead and roll it.
The people I ever hear use the word inflation are journalists and economists, right? So that is not part of the normal lexicon of the way people talk. So it's interesting that Republicans are doing something they don't normally do, right? Which is not use the common tongue, right? Not use just common English to sort of do on their campaigns like they're doing with crime. But what they've done is they've taught people the word inflation, right? Yeah. Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it, including on TV, including in newspapers. They've been taught this word, and they sort of wrap this word around whatever it is that they really want to vote, the reasons they really want to vote.
Jeez Louise, huh? Talking about bottom of the barrel issues. God forbid Republicans are educating Americans on inflation and what it means, but they don't want you to see that. They don't want you to focus and know what it means. They want you to be dumb, you guys, so that you continue to vote Democrat. At least they might have had a little bit of something on January 6th, but now they're complaining the fact that you guys were teaching them words that they need to know in terms of what to vote for, and we're teaching about inflation on how it impacts them. God forbid you actually help people. Well, the Biden administration has tried to explain away high inflation by blaming the Russian war. Remember, it's the Putin's price hike, right? And then they're also blaming the supply chain issues caused by the global lockdowns. And that was a response to the COVID-19 pandemic. You notice they never bring up the stimulus checks that they just threw out there like hotcakes to everybody else that increased inflation, just pumped the economy full of money. They've done it numerous amounts of times. Even on a state level, you got people like Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat governor in California, where I live. That's just taking a shellacking on the state. He's going to hand out people gas cards to help curb inflation. Let that one sink in. You got rising gas prices. Energy's up like 34%. That's going to go up even further because we're going to have a massive diesel shortage here in the coming week. It's just thing after thing here. However, polling shows that a plurality of Americans blame Biden's high spending policies for the damaging rise in prices, which is why he's not talking about it, which is why Karine Jean-Pierre on the podium will sit there and spin anything and everything and blame it on MAGA Republicans somehow, even though they hold all three branches of government, even though it's been them running the show. They can't even figure out the freaking southern border for over 2 years. They've been calling it a challenge. Hell, they can't even figure out inflation. You got the Federal Reserve doing, 0.75% every so often? It's basically doing nothing. So Biden can't figure it out. Things are only going to get worse. In May, Steve Ratner, who worked for the Obama administration, admitted that most economists were saying Biden's spending was like tossing gasoline onto a fire in relation to inflation. He doesn't see it that way. This is just redistribution of wealth. He called a bunch of people that were basically protesting against him. They're a bunch of pro-life advocates as well as people saying that he's pushing socialism. He called them idiots for saying that he's going to push socialism. You've literally been pushing socialist ideas. There's actual socialists in the Democrat Party named AOC and Bernie Sanders, and you're going to blame Republicans for everything. It's unbelievable. You're the most socialist group out there. There's nothing compared to socialism in terms of the Republican Party or conservatives. We don't want that. We don't want bigger government. We don't want redistribution of wealth, but that's what you want because that's what you're pushing. But you're going to blame us for just educating people on inflation. The Democrat Party, it just shows you they want you to say stupid. They think that you're stupid. We see that on The View all the time. They just were name calling everybody. They want you to not know these things so that you vote Democrat, so you stay on a metaphorical plantation and you can never get out of it. But once you start reading, once you start educating yourself even further on their ideology, not saying you weren't educated before, but on their ideology and the things that they do, like inflation, on just pumping money out like it's hotcakes, not wanting to increase domestic oil production so energy is cheaper, you're paying 34%, not looking at those things, trying to go to Saudi Arabia to get more oil, trying to go to Venezuela to get more oil. I'm not saying you shouldn't do those things, but when you can be self-sufficient on oil here in America by increasing more drilling rather than trying to make the freaking fossil fuel industry obsolete, which is words from Joe Biden, maybe people would take you a little bit more seriously, but you're going to attack us for this type of stuff, which just shows you they have nothing to run on. They don't have a damn clue. It's not going to stop Joy Reid from doing what she's doing. It's not going to stop CNN from coming out and trying to bash Republicans. They're bashing us literally for commenting on Nancy Pelosi's story, which literally outlets have got wrong time and time and time again. It first came out, oh, well, there's this deranged guy, this mega MAGA Republican that's a pro-Trump supporter, went after Pelosi, and then they tried to attach it to January 6th. You guys remember all that? They literally said that the zip ties and duct tape were the same as those that were at January 6th that freaking infiltrated the Capitol. Oh, well, he must be a MAGA Republican. Turns out the guy's part of the Green Party. You don't want to mention that in any of your articles. Not to mention that he has a Black Lives Matter poster in his window. He has a gay pride flag out back hanging from a tree, which is not a mega MAGA Republican or ultra MAGA, whatever the hell you want to call us Republicans. That's not what we side with. We don't go with that. If you want to be gay, go be gay. If you want to be trans, be trans. Just don't implement that upon kids and try to indoctrinate them in the school system. But it's amazing how they're all for indoctrinating kids on gender theory, pronouns, all this stuff, having corporations like Disney injected into your kids. But we actually teach people real things that really matter, like inflation, and all of a sudden it's a bad thing. So it's good when you want to trans kids. It's good when you want to sit there and give them hormone blockers, puberty enhancers, or puberty blockers, hormone enhancers, vice versa. Take off their breast, take off their genitals, castrate them. That's all good. No, it's okay to educate people on that front and get them all confused and stuff. That's fine. Any adolescents, by the way, like 12-year-olds. But when you teach Americans inflation, how economics works, what the Democrat Party's platform is to hurt you and what they have been doing compared to what the Republicans want to do to help you, God forbid you do something like that, folks. God forbid. But this is what they have. This is all they have, which is why they're going to get shellacked here come Tuesday and Wednesday. This is why the red wave is coming. Make sure you get out and vote, because these knuckleheads want to put other knuckleheads in office, meaning Democrats and progressive left, that actually are socialists, like AOC, like Bernie Sanders, like the Squad, and want to implement socialist ideas and run this country right into the ground. And people go, well, that's a little extreme. Look at what Joe Biden's doing, folks. Look at the way this guy's been running the show. Look at the way Congress has been running the show. They all suck. They all need to be out. We got to get to the polls and make a difference here in America and take America back, save America, and make America great again, folks. I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Bald Brad Show. If you did, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all our future content.